Well, it looks like a mailbox or a pet carrier, but it's for newborn babies, and it's causing quite a controversy. The so-called baby box is for parents who wish to anonymously give up their newborns without prosecution, and Indiana may be the first state to install them as part of its safe haven law. The boxes have heating or cooling pads and sensors that are supposed to help protect newborns. Several European and Asian countries already have them, and one local firefighter and paramedic says it's a great idea.
There are these girls that don't want their faces seen, and we're finding babies abandoned in woods, creeks, dumpsters. Those are the babies that we are targeting with these boxes. Those are the women that need us.
But opponents say that the baby boxes reinforce shame and may keep mothers from getting medical care and support services like making an adoption or a parenting plan. Rachel, I'm going to go to you on this one. How does it reinforce shame, and how does it prevent them from getting medical services? So these women would rather, I guess, that the baby and the mother don't get any help? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense. Obviously, the most vulnerable person among the mother and the baby at that moment, at the time of a newborn birth, is the baby. And what we should do is make it as easy as possible for that baby to get the care, because as that woman said at the fire department, it does happen. We hear all the time about babies that are abandoned, you know, in trash bins, in toilets, and bathrooms. And the other thing is, I guess some of the laws are where there's only up to 48 hours, and there's a lot of pro-life groups that are trying to expand that time. And make sure that women can anonymously, with no fear of prosecution, leave the babies there. I think it's absolutely the most humane thing we can do.
Mm-hmm. Congressman, what do you think? I mean, these lawmakers say this is a big problem, and this is a solution that they're putting forward to help these babies live and not have these mothers face that shame.
I am all about saving babies' lives, and if we have stories of babies being dropped in trash bins and out in the forest, obviously this is a great solution. I guess I haven't heard of this as being a problem, at least in Wisconsin, where we're having this issue where babies are being abandoned and dying because we don't have boxes like this. But if this is happening in Indiana and we can save babies' lives by putting the boxes out, I'm all for it. I guess I would hope they'd expand the program, and sometimes I want to feel like I want to put my 8-year-old son in a box. We can get a big one for him too. That would be good. He's not as well behaved.
Harris, I want to go to you because this does bring up the memory. I remember reading in my hometown, Allentown, Pennsylvania, this happened, and it does happen. I mean, the media doesn't cover a lot of these stories, but a woman disposed of her child in the bathroom of Starter Sports Bra. It was a horrific story.
Well, we've seen a couple of times this winter this happening, and particularly in the winter months. I do want to say something, though, about these boxes, because they are used in other parts of the world and other countries. This would be the first state in the United States to do so, Indiana. They have a cooling pad and a warming coil, so there is some concern about whether or not the children are safe in there with something that's triggered to keep them warm and cool. But look at the options. You leave a baby out in the cold, they die in a few hours. So that's one thing. And then the other, they have these alarms on these boxes, so that if you open them and there's weight inside, an alarm goes off to let authorities know, you know, that there's a child in there. What you would hope is that whomever is going to leave one of these boxes would feel comfortable leaving them out in the open, because if they return them to the woods, you're going to have just as much a problem trying to find this kid. Now you can hear it, but you don't know where it's coming from. So there are some things that I know that they're working out with the boxes. My mom was a social worker, so I'm really close to this issue of children being in harm's way, where parents are kind of struggling, what do I do? It gives them at least another safe haven option. We can maybe make it safer by fixing the boxes, but that they're considering this means it's important.
And very quickly, Jedediah, we've seen states spend money on some wacky stuff like turtle tunnels and whatever. So, I mean, why not spend it on something that can save a life?
Exactly. Anything that facilitates getting these babies a proper home. And like you said, Harris, as long as they're safe, it's a much better alternative. I think initially when people look at the boxes, there's a little bit of alarm. It looks like a dog carrier in some cases. But when you think about babies that are being left out in the open, in the wilderness, in Starbucks, the hope is that the moms will see that there is an option, a safer option, and take that option.
Nickelodeon under fire after a popular kids show airs an image of a topless woman. Why some parents say that this is part of a larger issue, no pun intended, and they're sick of having to police everything that their kids watch. Up next.
This program is brought to you by Northrop Grumman.